Christians, don't use this argument. Stop. It shows that you don't understand the depths by which persons like myself is talking about, or you don't have the intelligence to deal with what persons like myself is talking about. Now, TikTok wouldn't show the full comment that this gentleman made, but this gentleman is saying that, well, you know, if you take all the parts of a car and you put it in the desert, in no way in shape and form is they ever going to form and become a car. If you go and, you know, you put a dead chicken in a pot of water, there's no way that a chicken is gonna spring out a race of chickens. It's better for you to just say you don't understand the depths of the information that I was talking about when I was giving you the different levels that life exists on. All right. Y'all like to throw the whole, if a tornado swept up and a whole airplane and all the parts of an airplane that miraculously a 747 is going to come down. You got that one little thing that you like to throw out there. Of course, a 747 is not going to come down. That is a very intricate thing that was put together over time of development of man, first watching birds of how they fly, then experimenting, and then finally getting mechanical flight, and then getting man-powered flight. And then from man-powered flight, it evolved into the 747. So if you want to use a 747 as an example, it's something that started as an idea that evolved over a time frame and then became the 747. If you want to use a car in the desert, it's something that started way back when they first had a wheel. Then they say, let's put, you know, a little bucket on the wheel and we can carry things on it. And somebody said, well, let's put 4 wheels on it and then we can put some people on it. And then they domesticated some horses and they rode on with the bucket with the wheels. And then somebody decided to put an engine on it, and it's matured, it's evolved. The idea of it all evolved over time. Now, in all of that, you're going to say, well, see, it took a creative mind in order to create the 747 in flight. It took a creative mind. And da, 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 da. In that example, yes, it takes a creative mind because you're taking the energy of one thing and transmuting it over to the energy of something else. But when we're talking about the natural elements of the earth, the natural elements of the universe, and how things collide and come in together in an environment, it doesn't require the intelligence of a mind. You see, when water, hydrogen being one of the most dominant elements out in the universe, hydrogen is going to be attracted to one another, and then oxygen was attracted to that, and so it started to form water. And then as more and more H2O was created and water becomes this thing that's on the planet, water, all of a sudden it allows for the carbon and the nitrogen and all these other aspects of elements to start to coalesce with one another. And then out of that life that is a hydrogen atom, things become more and more complex over time. It didn't take a mind to do it. It just takes time and the right conditions. The earth being the right distance from the sun with the right size of the sun. Just as there are millions of planets out there that are in Earth-like orbits around stars that would provide life for it. And that's just the life that we know, that we can define as life. But for the higher mind, life is much more than just the complex human, or the plant or the animals that we can know and see. But life is in everything because all existence is life. And if that's too deep for you, shh, don't say a word. Because when you throw things like, oh, if you put a whole car in the desert, it will never, and a million years later, think it's going to crank up or it'll ever become a car. No, the metal of the car that's left in the desert, the energy of that will decay and transmute itself into something else that is life. It becomes part of the soil. The soil, the plants and other animals in the soil, they consume the energy of what once was a freaking car. And then they become bigger, better plants, or they become parts of the bees or the parts of whatever the hell animal is out there. It's the circle of life. They tried to explain that to you on Lion King, but maybe it was too deep. I don't know. You tell me. But making the chicken in a pot or a car in the desert, you saying that like you got some walk around money. You don't. You're demonstrating that you only got a couple of nickels and you can't even really rub them together. So stop with these types of examples, my guy. You're smarter than that. I know. I know you understood what I meant. Yeah, I know you understood what I said, not what I meant, but what I said. And you understand that life exists on all planes of existence. And therefore, since an atom exists, it is life. If it vibrates, it is life. And since all things in the universe vibrate, it is life. It's just that simple. But life continues to transmute itself from one form to the next form to the next form to the next form. That's the consistency of energy. That's how energy works. That's how transmutation works. And that's what works in this universe. If it's too much for you, stay with your Bible. You good. You know, just as long as you ain't out here robbing, killing, stealing, murdering. I don't care if you stay with your religion or not. But don't get into the deep end when you should be just standing in the shallows. So always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.